In this lightning lesson, we're going to discuss image size versus image resolution. And it all has to do with pixels. A pixel is the smallest element of an image that can be individually processed in a video display system. Or in simple terms, it's a single point in a picture. If we zoom way in on an image in Photoshop, you can see all these little squares of color and light. These are the individual pixels that make up an entire image. Now when we discuss image size, the image size refers to the pixel dimensions, or the width and the height, and the total pixel count, the width times the height. It's the physical dimensions of an image in pixels. Let me show you an example. This image is 972 by 670, or 972 pixels wide by 670 pixels tall, and it contains 651,240 pixels in the entire image. Now if we look at resolution, resolution is the number of pixels in a linear inch or millimeter. It's also referred to as PPI, or points per inch. So the resolution, we're only talking about the number of pixels in a given inch, not the entire image. Now resolution only affects printing. A higher PPI will print less pixelated, and different printers will require different resolutions. Let me show you what I mean by this. Let's pretend that this is a square inch that we've cut out of the image that we were looking at when we were discussing image size. We're now just talking about 1 square inch of the entire picture. As you can see, the more pixels per inch you have, or the more pixels you have in that 1 square inch. Let's take a look at an image in Photoshop. This image is going to be 2,000 pixels wide by 2,000 pixels tall, and it's going to have a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. In Photoshop, we're going to go up to the image box, and we're going to click on image size, and we're going to get a dialog box that allows us to change our image size, which would be our width times the height in pixels, or our resolution, which would be the number of pixels per inch. Now in this particular image, we have 2,000 pixels wide by 2,000 pixels tall, or 4 million pixels in the entire image. You can see what happens here in our preview box when we change our width times our height to 600 by 600. We now only have 360,000 pixels in the entire image. And as you can see in this preview where it's zoomed in, that compared to the previous picture, it's much more pixelated. We can see the little individual dots, and it's not nearly as clear. Now remember, resolution is the number of pixels in a linear inch or a millimeter. Changing the resolution when we have our image size referenced in pixels won't change the number of pixels in the image, so you have to set your image size to a linear measurement in order to affect the resolution. Let me show you what I'm talking about. In our image here that's 2,000 pixels wide by 2,000 pixels high, no matter what we do, we still have 4 million pixels in here, so changing our resolution to 72 pixels per inch, as you can see in our preview, hasn't changed it at all. We still have the same crisp clearness we had before. Now if we change our width and our height to inches, now when we change our resolution to 72 pixels per inch, you can see that it becomes much more pixelated. And the reason is because we're no longer measuring our image size in pixels, we're constraining it to inches. So when we change our pixels per inch, we're taking away pixels. So in summary, image size refers to the pixel dimensions, or the width and the height, and the total pixel count, width times the height. In other words, we're talking about the physical width times height in pixels. Now resolution is the number of pixels in a linear inch or a millimeter, also referred to as points per inch or PPI. It's really referring to the density of the pixels, and it only affects printing.